that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one.
Traveler. Okay.
She and I have already discussed it. Hear the PC, if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge. Right.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate.
The encounter begins with a traffic stop triggered by what officers describe as a fictitious traveler license plate. Under Texas law, and broadly across the United States, a fake or unauthorized plate provides immediate probable cause for a stop. At that point, philosophical arguments about traveling versus driving don't override traffic statutes. The legal justification exists the moment the plate is observed. Before the case even reaches questions about identification or compliance, the foundation for the stop has already been established in the eyes of the court.
The word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide.
Traveler.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
During a lawful traffic stop, officers generally have the authority to order occupants out of a vehicle for safety reasons. That principle has long been upheld in court decisions. Refusing to comply based on personal interpretations of the law rarely succeeds in a courtroom setting because judges focus on established legal standards, not individual belief systems. The debate shifts from ideology to authority, specifically who holds lawful authority during the stop. In that moment, it rests with the officer conducting a legally justified detention.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know, did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
so
I agree.
They ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really that's. So, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond. Your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberland?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration, we have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that is.
As the hearing progresses, the defense pivots away from technical legal arguments and toward broader contextual concerns, including fear and social climate. While those factors can sometimes provide mitigation, bond hearings typically center on conduct, compliance with court orders, attendance at required appearances, and interaction with law enforcement. Judges weigh behavior patterns heavily when deciding whether to reinstate bond. Emotional appeals may humanize a defendant, but they do not replace the court's responsibility to assess accountability and risk before making a ruling.
Never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police. So I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective. All defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by way, I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
No, right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlake, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy today.
I think the case is only 3 months old,
Yes,
so you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over. I'm not happy with you, Mr. Johnson. You're on bond in this case, and now you've picked up a felony case. The only thing I asked you to do behave yourself. Don't pick up any new cases. And now, Morgan, what has Mr. Johnson picked up?
Unauthorized possession of a catalytic converter.
Wow. What happened? Please.
So officers were dispatched to an apartment complex. The security guard in the apartment complex observed the defendant. Observed in plain view in the defendant's vehicle 3 catalytic converters that were freshly and jaggedly cut, and defendants were not mechanics. There's 2 defendants in this case. Defendant 1 was under a vehicle cutting the converter. When he saw security, he attempted to escape by jumping into a vehicle where defendant 2 was in the driver's seat. Security stopped them from leaving.
So where was Mr. Johnson?
I'm just trying to figure out if he was the number 1 or number 2 defendant, Judge.
Right, where was he? Was he in the car? How do we know if it's him? I don't want to try the case, right? But I don't want to.
Sorry, Judge, in the DIMS, they just identify the defendant 1 and 2. Let me just pull up the offense report really quickly. Okay, so Mr. Johnson was under the car. He was the defendant that was under the car, and then there was another defendant in a waiting vehicle.
Was he in the act of taking another one?
Yes, he was in the act of trying to steal a catalytic converter when the security guard caught him.
I am now going to revoke your bond on your first case. I asked you not to get in trouble. You've not picked up a felony case. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Your Honor, I would ask that the court set a bond, and obviously.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's each one of those is like $5,000-6,000, and someone has to. Life's hard enough as it is, man. You know, really. It goes with you. Hi, Ms. Ziegler. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
So it's making a firearm accessible to a child. Did someone pass away as a result?
So this one was the defendant, the father of the children. There were 3 children playing. And then the gun or the weapon was found on the bed, and one of the children was trying to get rid of the gun and then ended up shooting and killing his 10-year-old brother, shooting in the side of his head. And I spoke with Caroline on this, but I was more comfortable deferring to you without an agreed rec on what you thought was appropriate here.
I don't know.
I looked at the mitigation packet, but
What'd you think?
for some reason the case is 2 years old and it was only a 7-page packet. I felt that his statement wasn't really, taking as much responsibility overtly for this, and then it was images of their family. I understand all of that, but with 2 years going on, I don't know why this wasn't resolved with the other chiefs or what's going on, but I just wanted to see a little more with it.
Mr. Gutierrez, come up. Come up. Oh, he doesn't speak English.
No.
Got it.
Morning, Judge.
Hi, Luis, how are you? So are you okay with going without an agreed rec, Ms. Siegler? Are
Sorry.
you okay with going without an agreed rec? Where was the weapon initially? Do you know?
It was found on the bed.
Just a gun is just, do we know where it was initially before it was used? I guess that's my question.
There were several guns in the house. If you one moment, let me pull up the OR, but this one that was involved in the accident was found on the bed. 1 second. The mother, the complainant, next of kin advised that she was told that one of her children was trying to make the bed and in the process moved the firearm and it was discharged. And the child did not know that the gun was loaded.
The worst, that's the worst nightmare.
I know.
Just, it's awful. I don't know. I don't. I think that there has to be some punishment, right?
Your Honor, we're happy to speak to him and have him redo his mitigation packet.
But the thing is that he's had the chance to do it. You know what you're supposed to do. And if you can't own up to it at that time, then, I mean, that's truly what you mean at that time. Right? So I'd like to see it, if you don't mind, his letter, to see
Of course.
how he feels. Is he truly remorseful? You know, because, you know, on one end, I would think that the fact that your own child is dead because of you, is that punishment enough? Right?
That's where I was at too, Your Honor, which I was conflicting on.
If you can't even take responsibility for it, I mean,
And
You
the
know,
next of kin, the mother, the fire chief did speak with her in person. We followed up with her over the phone. And she has expressed they've all been to therapy, obviously, and she said to leave it up to us.
are they still together? Is the family still together?
Yes.
So let's do this. Let's get the plea done. I'd like to get it done today. It's 200 days old. Do it. There's going to be some. Okay. Not as much, but there's going to be some. And then, but then I'd like to see his letter first, though, if you don't mind. Okay. And then
It's in Spanish, so.
it's okay. I can read Spanish. And then, do you want to go ahead and write it up and do it today? Or do you want, tell me how you want to do this.
I would, whatever the recommendation is, I would like some time to talk to him about it.
Okay.
And if he would like to take it today, then we can take it today, but if not, then I would ask for something short.
No, if he doesn't take it, we're going to set it. It's 200 days old. It's time. So I guess let me take a look at the letter. Let me read it, and then I'll get back to you. And then give me 15 minutes. Let me just talk to them, and then, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
So I'll print it right now.
Thanks. Hi, Will.
Morning, Judge.
Shh. Mr. Trevor Maines, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Oh, guys, crap. I'm sorry. Sorry, John D. And thanks, Mark. This is Mr. Trevor Maines. It's the last name, Trevor Maines. I guess under Trevor.
Sorry about that, Judge.
It's okay.
So officer, are you ready for me?
Yeah, okay. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
Officers were dispatched to a bar in Harris County, Texas, in response to a suspicious person. The complaining witness, a security guard, told the officer that the defendant had left the bar and gotten into his car, but then returned a short time later carrying a gun. While there were other parties arguing in the outdoor area of the bar. The defendant took the gun and threw it under the fence. The complaining witness retrieved the gun, took the bullets out, and returned the gun to the defendant and told him to leave. Complaining witness then observed defendant go to the back of the bar and hop the fence to get back inside.
So they had told him to exit the bar, you said?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Trevor, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir?
7.
What do you do with yourself these days? What do you do with yourself these days?
So I'm unemployed. I don't have a job.
How come?
Just moved here. Just moved out here.
From where? Okay. What are you planning on doing with yourself?
Job.
Okay. How long has it been since you've had a job?
Like 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years since you've had a job? How do you support that? How do you live? How do you eat? How do you get money? Okay.
I'm in trouble. You see my record. I don't get in trouble.
So you have any prior criminal history?
Just carrying a handgun in a motor vehicle that was dismissed.
I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to this place. Do you understand? Not to be in possession of any weapons. Do you understand? So how are you going to get a lawyer, sir?
Get pay for them.
So you're just going to do nothing and
You sign me a
so I don't want to talk to you, the case. I don't want to talk about the case, but let me ask you this. You haven't had a job for 2 to 3 years. Why should the people of Harris County have to foot a bill for you when you get to do nothing for 3 years? How is that fair that we all have to pay for your lawyer when you don't do anything? You get to play Xbox all day, just hang out at home and do nothing, and we have to foot the bill for that? How's that fair?
I don't have it. What you want me to do?
So here's what we're gonna do. I'll have you fill out an application. I'm now making a condition of your bond. You got to get a job. And I'm gonna bring you back in 2 weeks. I want to see what you've done to get a job. You're 27 years old, dude. This life is really, really tough without money. And the older you get, life doesn't get easier. It gets harder. You get bigger, you get fatter, you get uglier, you lose hair, right? And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have a way to make money, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think people are going to keep giving you handouts the rest of your life? That's how we have all these people who walk the street looking all Quasimodo-like, have no way of getting money, no traits, no skill. That's not the way to go through life, man. Now is when you work your ass so that when you become 60, when you become 70, you have a cushion, you have somewhere to land. So you have a house, you have a nest egg savings. Because if not, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have a really rotten and miserable life. This life is a journey, and it's really a good journey where you buy nice things, have nice clothes, take nice vacations, pretty wife, kids, or it can be a rotten toilet of an existence where you're in and out of jail. You ain't got no money. You're begging every single person for this and for that. And that's not the way to go through life. Did you even graduate from high school? I want you to get a job. I will give you a lawyer today, but you're not to use alcohol. You're not to use illegal drugs. And I'm going to test you like crazy. I want you to know that now. And I'm going to hold you to a standard as well. Do you understand? And if you don't, life's not going to go well between you and I. I'm just telling you that now. You will be held to a standard. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And I want to see what you have done to get a job. If you come back here and you ain't got nothing in your hand, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? You might give an application.